Okay, so far in our discussion on the section on clear comprehension, so already discuss about going forward and returning, looking in front and looking away. It means in every other direction. So next, the Buddha says, Saminjite pasarite sabajana kari hoti. So that means in bending and in stretching, one applies or practices clear comprehension. So bending, stretching here means bending and stretching of your various parts of your bodies. So limbs, your two arms, your two legs, even your head also. You bend like that down, and then you stretch out. That's also bending and stretching. Your whole body also, you can bend down and then you can reach out and stretch out. So some exercises like this, right? Bending and stretching. You can bend to the side, stretch. You bend one side, stretch the other side. See? So all these actions are called bending and stretching. Okay. Even minor bending and stretching, even your fingers bending, stretching, stretching like that. So all this bending and stretching. Okay. So it's meant to cover every minute bending and stretching, okay? Not just the major ones. So just like under the postures. You have standing, walking, sitting, lying down, and then you have all the other minor postures. So which includes every single way that you can place your body. Okay? And so here also. So every single act of bending or stretching, no matter how big or how small, included. Okay. Even when you are sitting, sitting meditation, sometimes yogi slightly move a bit just to stretch a bit. That also stretching. So throughout the day, in a retreat, especially during the daily activities. Okay? So as you carry out your daily activities, you find that you will be using your arms, your legs, your body, and so on, different parts of your body, in order to do a lot of things. Right? Like when you are, for example, reaching out to get something. For example, what? During your meal, right? When you take your food, right? So you reach out to take the food. That's reaching out. That's stretching out. You're stretching out your arms, right? So of course, you must do this with noting. You must note first of all, seeing, looking at the food. Don't look elsewhere. Don't look at your neighbor's food. Look at your food. So and make sure you're not seeing. That's clear comprehension of looking. So seeing, and then pops up the intention. You want to take the food, right? So the intention arises, the impulse arises. So often automatically, you don't have to sit there and say, I want to take this food. You just seeing, and pop, it comes. The impulse just comes. So that is intention. So you have to note the intention to take the food. Of course, you don't note intention to take the food, intention to take the food. By the time you note like label like this, your intention long gone already. So, as we said the other day, the impulse is very fast. In fact, very difficult to label because the moment you label is not there already. It's very fleeting. So it's just pop up like an urge. And the moment it pops up in the mind, you find your arms starts to become stiff. Right? That's the nature of the wind element arising. So due to what? Due to the impulse to take. So immediately it causes the arising of this nature, the wind element. It becomes firm and tight. When I say tight, it doesn't mean you flex your muscle. It just becomes slightly tight, ready to move. And then it starts to push forward and push forward. Right? So you observe carefully, if you're noting, you have clear comprehension, observing carefully, you can see this process, this impulse giving rise to the nature of the wind element, giving rise to the movement of stretching out. If you observe continuously, clear comprehension of domain, observe continuously the entire act of stretching out from beginning to the end. Then you have you notice clear comprehension of non-delusion. That there's a series of impulse. It's not just one impulse and then your arm is already there. Right? Yes, one impulse, it gives rise to just a very slight movement. It's not there yet. So the mind continue to prod. Go some more. So the impulse arises. Go some more. Then this gives rise to more nature of wind element. Cause more movement. Another impulse, another movement, another impulse, another movement. So a series of impulse giving rise to a series of movement, of stretching out. Yeah. So if you observe carefully, you have this clear comprehension of non-delusion. There's no person here that is stretching out. There's just a series of intention giving rise to a series of movement. There's no arm that is stretching out. There is just this nature of wind element giving rise to the movement. Right? So that means you discern things clearly as they really are. This is called yatha bhuttam pajanati, seeing things as they really are. This is exactly what this act of stretching out is really. In reality, this is what it is. Just a series of intention and a series of movement. There's no person, no being here that is stretching out. So stretching out, and then after that, you take, and then you bring it close to you. Right? Bringing close to you is what? Is bending. So that also, yogi applies clear comprehension. Practice clear comprehension. Okay? Before bringing, of course, you must scoop. So, scooping in a way also is bending. You have to bend your wrist a bit. Right? So your intention to scoop, as soon as the intention arises, you start to feel that the around the wrist and the fingers, it starts to become firm. Right? Then it starts to move, then the scooping. Right? So you're not intention, scooping, another intention, scoop some more, another intention, scoop some more. You have to really go very slow in order to see this. If you just go pop, finish, you don't see anything. That's why you ask yogi, slow down, then you can observe. Then after that, you bring it. Bring it is bending. So again, you're not intention. Right? As soon as intention arises to bring it, again the arm starts to pull. It becomes firm and starts to pull closer, pull closer. So the mind keeps pushing it to pull closer, pull closer. So the impulse. Okay. So again and again the impulse arises. Move it closer, move it closer, move it closer. So this gives rise to one movement after another, after another. So the yogi slow down. You can observe clearly, clearly comprehend this entire process of bending and bringing the foot close to the mouth. So throughout the day, there are many actions like this, stretching and bending the arm, not just when you are taking food. Every time you open and close the door, right? You're bending and stretching your arm, right? So must apply clear comprehension. Observe the process, bending, bending, stretching, stretching. So when you pay respect, right? So do you bend and stretch? A lot of bending and stretching in paying respect, right? First, when you bring your palms together, in a way you're bending your arms. You put it together and then you bend it. So you have to note with clear comprehension the intention and then the bending, bringing up the arm. So you note carefully, bringing, bending, 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 bending. So intention, bending, intention, bending. Then after that, your body goes down. Right? So before body goes down also, has intention. So you can feel again, the intention arise, the impulse arise. You start to lower the body. So you lower the body also, you notice the nature of the wind element. So it's lowering. Actually, lowering the body, like struggling, to. On the one hand, you actually have to hold the body up. So you don't hold it; it straight away go down. Right? So what is it that's holding it up? It's the wind element. But at the same time, lowering it. So because of the intention, the impulse, you're lowering it. So it's like you're controlling the movement. You're holding it, but then you're releasing it a little bit. Holding it, releasing it, holding it, releasing it, holding it. So with each impulse, release a bit, release a bit, release. So as it bow down, what happened? The body is bending. So that's bending. So you apply clear comprehension. Slowly the body bend down. Then you can feel the nature of the wind element bit by bit by bit. Also the nature of the mental impulsion. Okay? So seeing clearly the impulsion giving rise to the wind element. Moment by moment by moment. Okay? Then once you reach down, your arms stretch out slightly, right? So before you stretch out, not intention to stretch, right? Soon as intention arise, again the wind element arise, pushing it up, pushing it up. So it starts to stretch. Okay. Mm. And then when you want to lift up, you want to come up, again the intention arise. Then what happened? The body again become like stiff. When you are completely on the ground, for a moment the body is completely relaxed, right? Then the moment the impulse, now you get up, immediately the impulse arises. There's a changes in the body. Okay? The relaxed materiality disappear. In its place, the tense materiality arise. So then it starts to pull up. Okay? So bit by bit, the impulse arise. Bit by bit, it pulls up, pulls up, pulls up. Okay? And then as it pulls up, after the body has come up for a certain distance, then your both arms also again begin to bend up, right? So again, you note intention, and then it slowly lifts up, lifts up, lifts up. So you observe carefully, you slow down, you observe very carefully. You see, there's no person here who is bowing. There's just all this process, mental, physical nature going on moment after moment after moment. And your mind is really clear, you can discern each mental, physical nature that arise and disappear immediately. So you observe this arising and disappearing continuously. Then you discern the nature, impermanent, suffering, non-self. Okay? So, just in the act of bowing, you see, clear comprehension in bending and stretching. So, what else is there? What else do you do every day that involve bending, stretching? When you climb the stairs, right? You climb the stairs, it involves bending and stretching your legs, right? First you have to bend in order to take a step, right? You bend and then put it there, and then you straighten it. Straighten means stretching, so that you get up, right? So again, you know the intention and the movement, the nature of the wind element that arise moment by moment. Okay? So when you're scrubbing, when you're washing your plate, you're scrubbing. What is your arm doing? It's stretching, bending, stretching, bending, right? So when you're sweeping, so your arms swinging, actually stretching and bending, stretching and bending as you sweep. Right? And even the body also side to side. There's also some parts are being stretched, some parts are bent slightly, right? So you're not. It's clear comprehension, right? So each time there's an act of stretching and bending, no matter how small it is. So the yogi note, okay? Note the act of stretching and bending. Apply clear comprehension. Note clearly. Okay? Note continuously. So when the noting is clear, yogi will be able to discern clearly the true nature of this act of bending and stretching. But in your practice, so during your practice, in a retreat, when a desire arises in order to stretch or to bend, what do you do? So, first of course, you must note the desire. But of the yogi is not to immediately act on it. Yes, that's the way of the yogi. You do not act on every single desire that arises. First, you must note the desire. Okay? And then there is the clear comprehension of what is beneficial purpose. Is there a need, a benefit of doing this? Is it suitable? Clear comprehension. Sataka sampajanya, sapaya sampajanya. Clear comprehension of purpose, what is beneficial or suitable. So, for example, during sitting meditation, so after sitting for some time, some parts of the body may become stiff, or pain may arise. So then the desire arises, right? You want to relieve the pain. Sometimes you need to stretch, right? So is it beneficial to stretch? When there's pain or when there's stiffness? Sure, it's beneficial, because otherwise this stiff sensation, pain, they may become an obstacle to the practice of meditation, may disturb the meditation. It is said that bodily comfort is a condition for samadhi to arise, right? So there is some benefit to stretch in order to get some comfort in the body. Comfort in the body is very important. That's why in the instruction of Anapana, the Buddha start off by showing you how to sit so that you get a comfortable posture. Right? So when the body is relaxed, comfortable, then the mind can easily sink into concentration. If there's a lot of discomfort in the body, then that becomes an obstacle for the mind, right? Sure, there's some benefit in stretching. But right in the middle of sitting meditation, it is not suitable. Here we have to treat it somewhat like pain. So you do not immediately shift, right? Or stretch in order to relieve it. You have to treat it like pain, because it's not suitable to immediately stretch. Yes, if you do so, you interrupt the flow of your continuous noting. Especially every time desire to stretch arises, immediately you don't care, you stretch. Every time some discomfort arises, stretch. You keep stretching. So your body is restless. Your body is restless, the mind will also be restless. You will not be able to settle. So it's not suitable. It may be beneficial, but it's not suitable. It's better to take the discomfort, the stiffness or the pain as an object and note. So that means you do Vedana, Vipassana. Okay? So now usually if it is just a mild discomfort, so it can be easily handled with noting. You just note. After a while it disappears. Right? Then you return to your primary object. But sometimes the discomfort or the pain become too intense. So, and then it may come to a point where no matter how much you try to not, so the mind keeps being disturbed. So when you note pain or some discomfort in the body, as long as you can continue to note, it's a good object. You can see its nature clearly. It's a good object. You should continue to note. No matter how painful it is, how uncomfortable it is. So if you can still continue to note, that means it is helping you to build up your mindfulness and concentration. So when we say you can continue to note, it means that your mind is still relaxed, can settle into this difficult object and discern the nature clearly without being agitated, disturbed. That means no dosa arise. You can note in a detached manner. So as long as you can continue to do that, you must continue to do that. Okay. It also helps to build up the strength of the mind. So build up the courageous effort. You see, it means you are not a yogi who immediately some little discomfort arises, you raise the white flag, surrender. No, you with courage, you note. You don't give up. Okay? And this trains the strength of mind. This helps builds up the strength of mind. And this will help you in the development of insight. Because when in the Vipassana meditation, when you develop insight, especially insight into nature or dukkha, it can be very difficult. So if your mind is not strong, you'll be overwhelmed. You will not be able to go beyond it. The knowledge will not deepen, it will not mature. So in order to deepen the insight into dukkha, mature it, you need to have that strength of mind to be able to face the nature of dukkha again and again, continuously. If you keep asking, why me, why like that? Why, then you cannot face it. So you're not mature. The insight will not deepen. You will not be able to go beyond it. Transcend. You will not be able to transcend suffering. So as long as the object, you can of pain, discomfort, you can still note. You continue to note. Okay? But it may come a time when it becomes too difficult. You can no longer note it with a calm and clear mind. The mind keeps getting agitated. Even you note the agitation, it may disappear for a while, but it keeps coming back again and again. So when this happens, that means this object is no longer suitable. You cannot develop insight with this object anymore because it becomes now an obstacle because your mind keeps getting agitated. Okay? Then at that time it's suitable to stretch. Okay? But mindfully. Okay? So so you have to do it mindfully, aware of the intention, aware of the movement that arises from the intention. Okay? So sometimes all it needs is you just turn a little bit to stretch some small little muscles, and then it's relief. And then after that, you just relax and then go back to noting. Okay? Not the pain again. See what happened to it. Yeah. So, but in the middle of the sitting, when you stretch, don't go stretching. Oh, like that. Nah. Or go yeah. Remember, there are yogis around you. Unless you're meditating alone, it's not a problem. You go stretch like that, you may hit them. So In the commentary, there's this story of the monk who unmindfully he stretched. So he stretched his hand behind, and then the bhikkhuni behind. And then it says that he loses his monkhood. That means he stretched, and then he touched the bhikkhuni last arise, and then I think one thing leads to another, and then he breaks his precepts. So by the commentary just say he loses his monkhood. So touching alone does not make you lose the monkhood. Okay, so it must be something else that leads from there. Okay, so you have to be mindful when you stretch. It says another monk stretch his legs unmindfully, and then the leg go into a fire. Must be really unmindful. Fire is there, you cannot see. Another one is stretches his arm towards, I think he was trying to take the rope, stretches up, and then unmindfully did not see a snake there, and then got bitten. So you must look where you stretch. Okay, so in the middle of sitting meditation, so you do not stretch immediately. It's not suitable. Okay, so only when it becomes really unbearable beyond your ability to continue noting with a clear mind, then only it is suitable to stretch. But after the sitting meditation is over, usually after sitting meditation, especially after a long sitting session, your body will be very stiff. So then at that time, if you want to stretch, it's suitable to stretch. And it's beneficial to get the circulation going. Okay? Where you have to do it mindfully. And you have to be careful also. Where, when you're stretching, where your limbs are going into. Don't go and knock other people. So, and if there's a lot of yogis around and they're still meditating, it's not suitable to stretch there. You may disturb them. Go another place. Okay, where there are no yogis, go somewhere else and stretch. Okay. So there's clear comprehension of what is beneficial and what is suitable. So another question is, how about when you stretch in order to exercise? Many yogis ask this, especially those who are in long retreats, especially the older yogis. Yeah, when you're young, your body is okay. When you're old, body starts to give a lot of trouble. Then you find you need to stretch sometimes. So young people with healthy body, so you don't need to exercise during your retreat. Okay, but your body is young and is healthy. It can take a lot of beating. Don't worry. So no need to trouble yourself with exercise. Just focus on your practice, because your time here in a retreat is very precious, especially in this time of pandemic. That you have the opportunity to come to practice, even for a week, or 2 weeks or a month is still very precious. So many people don't have this opportunity. So you should make full use of that time. So for a short retreat also, even if you're old, for a short retreat, 1 week, 2 weeks, no need to exercise. So you can have all the time to exercise after you finish your retreat. It's only 1 week, 2 weeks, right? So just focus on your practice. Okay? But for long retreats, it's a different story. For very long retreats that can go on for months and months. So there is some benefit. Do some light exercise. Okay? Light exercise. Okay? Don't start bringing your dumbbells and all your gym equipment to the retreat center. Okay? Light exercise. So yes, in a long retreat where you do long sitting, long walking meditation over periods of months and months. So unless you are one of those yogis, very skillful, you can very quickly develop bojjhanga, the factors of enlightenment. So when you develop factors of enlightenment, your body, factors of enlightenment are very therapeutic. So your body will be in a very good shape. So he said that Mahasi Sayadaw said that when he was meditating, even though he was noting continuously for months, so he practiced very rigorously, walking, sitting, it's very disciplined. He feels very healthy. So his teacher explained to him, Mingun Sayadaw explained, it's due to the bojjhanga. So if your practice is going on very, very well, and the bojjhanga, factors of enlightenment, arising continuously, you feel very healthy. You don't feel the need to exercise. Yes, even though your practice is very rigorous, even though you sleep only very little, you eat only enough, but you feel very, very healthy. Okay? So if you are one of these yogis, very skillful, you can develop bojjhanga very fast, then you don't need exercise. Otherwise, in a long retreat, so the body may be stressed out due to long periods of sitting and walking, especially if you're all yogi. So all means how old? I think it depends on the individual, how healthy you are. Some people, when 30 years old, the body already koya already. Some people 70 years old, the body still very strong and healthy. So it depends. I think Sister Sam very healthy. All these years I never see her complain about any sickness, except her eyes. So so it depends on the individual yogis. But usually after 1 month, after meditating continuously for 1 month, and if you are still struggling in your practice, then you start to feel the stress of the body. So that's why yogis must train in order to be able to enter into concentration, Vipassana concentration, as quickly as you can. Okay? Because once you enter into concentration, so you don't struggle so much with the body anymore. Okay? You may still have to struggle with insight, okay? But with the body, not so much. And with the mind, not so. But if you don't enter concentration, you struggle with body, struggle with mind. Okay? And then the mind and the body takes a toll. So that's why we ask you all, come again and again for retreat. Develop this skill of meditation. so that you can very quickly enter into mindfulness, concentration, clear insight. So that you don't have to struggle so much with the body and mind. Only struggle with insight. Yes, insights you have to, especially dukkha jnana. So, yeah. So for long retreats like this, when your body starts to feel the burden, the stress of the rigorous practice, there's some benefit to do some light stretching exercise in order to maintain the body in good shape, to support the practice. Okay, so but you have to do it mindfully. Doesn't mean exercise, okay, you jump around. That's why you must, certain exercises are not suitable. Jogging, no. It must be very simple exercise and don't spend too much time doing it. Okay, so I think more than 20 minutes is too much. Okay, so, and also don't overdo it. Yeah, don't overdo until it takes precedence over your practice. So you have to keep in mind this purpose of doing this light exercise is just to support your practice. You do it for the purpose to support your practice. So the practice must always take precedence. Okay, so you spend too much time doing this, then it's not suitable anymore. Okay, and the exercise must be very easy and simple exercise. Simple enough so that you can still be mindful. So certain qigong exercise can be very simple, simple stretching. So, but you have to do it mindfully. Okay, remember, you're still in a retreat. Okay, so you must not be those exercises you have to do very fast movement, not that slow movement. Okay. Actually, what the Buddha recommends is for monks. Monks means those days monks are the yogis, right? So what the Buddha recommends, in fact, the only exercise that the Buddha allow, sweeping and walking. So you really want to exercise, do some sweeping. When I said sweeping, remember Buddha, in Buddha's time they live in forest monastery, right? So sweeping means not sweeping meditation hall. Sweeping means sweeping the forest, the leaves. You can try tomorrow. You ask the broom from Zozo, not those broom you sweep the hall, those broom you sweep the leaves. You go and just take one little spot. You go and try sweep. Just after a few minutes you do this, you start to sweat. Because your whole body is moving. Your whole body is turning, twisting, it's stretching. Your arms are moving. But you can do it mindfully, you just sweat. So those days they sweep a very big area. So you can do that. We will appreciate it. Zozo will appreciate it. Yes, help us. So when you will sweat, you really will sweat. After that, you feel very good. After you go and meditate, you feel very good. Your body will feel very comfortable. Yeah. Walking also. Imagine those days, they walk to go for alms round, long distance, right? Those of you who have been to pilgrimage in India, if you've been to Rajagaha, right? Remember where the Buddha stayed in the Vulture's Peak, right? From the bottom you hike up. Right? How long was that? Every day the Buddha walk up and down that path to go for arms round. That is called walking for exercise. So not just walking up and down short distance like this. You don't sweat much. Here in Santi Sukarama, you have one advantage. You know the hill there, the path leading up. You can just walk up and down a few times. So yes, when you walk up, you start to bend. You exert your heart. Okay? So you take in oxygen. You just walk up and down a few times. You can walk over the other side. You take some sunlight, which is also good. So because in a retreat center, whole day indoor, you don't get sunlight. Okay? You get some sunlight. After that, you feel very good, refreshed also. So such exercises Buddha allow. So when you walk, you are stretching your muscles also. Your leg muscle. So when you walk also, your arms also, you are moving it. Right? So, and it's also an exercise in mindfulness. That's how good you are. You test yourself. Can you walk up and down that hill, maintaining your mindfulness throughout? Bringing your mindfulness with you, bringing it back. So, a test of your mindfulness. Okay. So such light exercises suitable, especially for long retreats. So that's why sometimes and yogi requests those who are doing long-term meditation, when they request do some light stretching, I say okay, as long as you are mindful. Okay? And also exercise in places where people are not meditating. Okay? So you don't disturb others and don't spend too much time. Do it mindfully, don't spend too much time. Just stretch enough, your body feel good enough, and then go back to your practice. Okay? Yeah. Don't overdo it. Yeah. There is a history in Buddhism of monks overdoing exercise. It's called Shaolin Temple. Yeah, they actually started as exercises. When the first patriarch, Bodhidharma, first patriarch of Zen in China, Bodhidharma, he came over from India to China. He arrived somewhere around the Shaolin Temple. So he meditated. There was a group of monks there also meditating. So they were meditators. Okay? And they were very diligent in their meditation. And they meditate long hours. Okay? So they sit very, very long and meditate. Okay? But they were very sickly. Because they didn't move their body. They were all the time sitting there. So that means their meditation also not very deep. No bojjhanga. That's why it's so sickly. If they are bojjhanga, then they won't be so sickly. So because they were so sickly, when Bodhidharma saw this, so he introduced them certain exercises. I think he probably got them from India. No, in India, the yogi tradition in India, over a period of thousands of years, they have developed these exercises to support them in their practice of meditation, which you all do nowadays as yoga. This actually began for those meditators, because they meditate for such a long period of time. So they do this exercise to prepare their body to take the strain to be able to take the strain of meditation. That's why you see those people who do yoga, they can sit full lotus, very long period of time. They can meditate, they can enter samadhi. So these exercises is to support the practice of meditation. So Bodhidharma probably brought this exercise and taught it to those monks who were at the Shaolin temple at that time as a kind of exercise to strengthen their body so that they can meditate better. But then they overdo it. Over time, simple exercise slowly developed into martial arts. And now they are famous for martial arts instead of meditation. So don't overdo. Okay? You want to be famous for Vipassana, not for some exercise or martial art. So then the yogi also apply clear comprehension of domain, gochara sampajanya. So that means when you're bending, stretching, so you note continuously. Okay? So you make sure as you are stretching, as you are bending, you remain with noting the act, the intention, noting the movement, the series of intention, the series of movement, note continuously. Okay? So that's called clear comprehension of domain, remaining within the domain of satipatthana with noting. Okay? So here there is again another story of an ancient elder, ancient Thera. Where is it? Okay, so he said that once there is an elderly bhikkhu who was speaking with his pupils, his students. And while he was speaking to them, he suddenly bent his arm abruptly. But then very quickly he returned his arm to its original position and then bent it again slowly. So his students, when they saw this very strange action, so they asked him the reason for this very strange behavior. And then he explained. He says, since I began meditating, he must have meditated for a very long time because he's a very elderly bhikkhu. So he says, since I began meditating, I have never once bent my arm without mindfulness. Never once. Imagine. So, in one day, how many times you bend your arm without mindfulness? So, for him, he said, never once bend his arm without any mindfulness. But now, he says, as I was speaking with you just now, I forgot to do it mindfully. After so long, suddenly one moment of unmindfulness. So for him, there's more moments of mindfulness. Moments of unmindfulness are rare. So for most yogis, it's the opposite. So he says, I forgot to do it mindfully. So that's why I put my arm back and bend it again mindfully. So it says that his pupils his students were filled with admiration for his great mindfulness. And they say, well done, sir, sadhu, sadhu. You are a true bhikkhu, a true yogi. Okay. So this elderly bhikkhu, he practiced clear comprehension of domain. Okay? So throughout his life of practicing, since he began meditating, he kept within the domain of satipatthana. Every time he bends or stretches his limbs, his body, he does so only with mindfulness. Okay? So through clear comprehension of domain, the yogi remain noting continuously, moment after moment after moment. Okay? So in this way, you develop as bhavana, development of mind. The mindfulness develop, concentration develop. Okay? So when develop, when mindfulness and concentration develops, then the mind becomes clear and sharp. So then clear knowledge arises. Clear knowledge arises. Okay? Jnana arises. So this is also developed. This is also bhavana. So when the mind can discern clearly, then the understanding arises. There's no person here, no person, no being here that bend or stretch. So, and there's no limbs, no bodily parts that is bending or stretching. Rather, there is just series of intention, giving rise to a series of minute movements. Okay? So the yogi have this clear comprehension of non-delusion. He sees this act of bending and stretching for what it is. Okay? Just a series of intention giving rise to a series of minute movement. Okay? Wind element that causes minute movement. Okay? So the yogi realize clearly that there's just this mental physical process going on continuously in each act of bending and stretching. Okay? There's no person, no being, no self here. Okay? So who is it that causes the bending? There's no one who causes the bending. There are just nature of mental nature of intention or impulse. Okay? That give rise to the nature of wind element that causes the bending. Okay? So, and what is it that is bending? Is it the arms? Is it the legs? No, that's just a series of movement that arise due to the nature of wind element. That and this wind element also arises and spreads due to the impulse. Okay? Yeah. So such realization, such understanding, such clear vision of what is going on is called asammoha sampajanya, clear comprehension of non-delusion. Furthermore, the yogi may also discern clearly that each of this mental, physical nature that arise in this act of bending or stretching, each one of them arises and disappears right there where they arise. Okay? So as he notes this mental, physical nature arising and disappearing continuously, then you also begin to realize the nature of impermanent suffering and non-self. Okay? So this is also called clear comprehension of non-delusion. So in every act of stretching and bending, yogi applies clear comprehension. By applying, so he discerns clearly true nature, the underlying reality. But in the beginning, when you start noting, so you do not immediately do away with concept. So although you discern reality, but you're not straight away do away with concept. Okay? So when you first note, especially for beginners, when you're not stretching, bending, you're still in the mind, still have this idea of the form and the shape of the arms, the legs, the body. So the mind will still form this idea, this concept of the form and the shape. Okay? But at the same time, if you are really noting carefully, you will also experience nature of wind element as motion. So you note the arm is moving. This is the manifestation of the wind element. So manifestation of wind element means conveying. It's being conveyed from one place to another. This is just a fancy way for the commentary to describe motion, conveying from one place to another. Okay, so that's how the manifestation of wind element, how it manifests, how it appears. Okay, so when you discern motion, you are actually discerning wind element through its manifestation. Okay? You can discern wind element through its characteristic function, as well as its manifestation. Okay? So in the beginning, you discern the motion, more of the motion, not so much of the characteristic like tightness, stiffness, and so on. So, because those are very subtle. So the wind element that arises in motion usually very subtle. As we said just now, we say firmness, tightness doesn't mean it's very, very tight. It's just very slight tightness. Okay? In the beginning, the yogi will always miss that. But the motion is clear. So in the beginning, a yogi will discern more the form and the shape of the limbs, arms or the legs, together with the motion. Okay? So in the beginning, when you're noting, you see a mix of both concept and reality. Okay? But as the mindfulness and concentration and knowledge improve, it becomes sharper and clearer. Then each time the yogi the mind will become more and more focused on the nature, intention, nature, the wind element, the pulling, the pushing, the tension. So it becomes clear enough. This nature becomes clear enough so that the mind begins to move more and more towards this nature, the mental and physical nature, rather than to the concept, the idea, the form and shape of the body. It's still there. It won't completely disappear. Okay? It's still there, but the attention will move more and more towards reality. Okay? But it will not completely disappear until Banganyana. Okay? So, yeah. So the concept does not immediately disappear. So it depends on how focused you are on reality. Okay? But no matter how much you're focused on, eventually, when you are lost in noting, yes, you can continuously stay with reality. Okay? But because the momentum in Vipassana meditation, because Kanika Samadhi, the momentum is not like the Samatha Jhana. You go in, you can last for hours. Kanika Samadhi depends on how strongly you develop it. It may last for just a short, brief moment, or a few minutes and so on. As long as you are in it, you're lost in it, in Chitta Visuddhi, the mind continuously discerns reality. But once the momentum is lost, again the concept will come back. So you have to understand this. Otherwise, you will say, how come I still see concept, I still see form and shape? And in order to transcend more faster beyond the form and shape, so the labeling, because labeling is actually concept, right? So you are actually making use of concept in order to help you with the noting. Okay, but in order for it to be helpful, the labeling needs to be very simple. Okay? As simple as possible. Okay? Don't use complicated long label. Huh? Like, I'm opening the door. I'm opening the door. First of all, drop the I. I say opening. Don't even say opening the door. I say opening, opening. Simple. So you say opening the door. Chances are your attention is more on the label, on the concept. Then you start to think of opening the door, or then the door appear in your mind. Your arm opening appear in your mind. Just say opening, opening, opening. That's all. Simple. Use simple label so that the mind can sink in to the process of the arm stretching out to open and bending. So you don't want to distract your mind with all this complex label. You want to be as simple as possible, so that the mind also can be as simple as possible, and it can sink in into the experience. Okay, so this is clear comprehension. Applying clear comprehension in stretching, in bending and in stretching. Okay, we stop here for today. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Buddham Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Dhammam Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Sangham Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Mata Pitunam Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Acariyanam Pujemi. Adha imaya Patipadaya Charam Ranamha Parimochisami. Idame Punyam Asawakaya Vaham Hodu. Idame Punyam Nibbanasa Pachayo Hodu. Idame Silam Magaphalanyanasa Pachayo Hodu. Imam no Punya Bhagam Sabbasatanam Dema. Imam no Punya Bhagam Sabbasatanam Dema. Imam no Punya Bhagam Sabbasatanam Dema. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So may all of you be well, happy and peaceful always. May you all always be healthy, be safe, be strong, be able to practice the Dhamma continuously without any obstacle, without any trouble. And soon may all of you be able to experience the unconditioned peace of Nibbana through your practice of Dhamma.